Start recording. Hi everyone, thank you for watching Growing Old Together YouTube channel. We have a special guest today, Tim. He is a special trainer. He gonna share us about all kind of exercise. So I'm gonna have her to introduce himself, and so you can get to know him. Go ahead, Tim. How are you?
Hey, how are you doing?
Good.
I am on my cell phone presently, so it's kind of hard to actually see what I'm showing you and what I'm doing, but I'm actually in the gym. And I'm a personal trainer. I've been a personal trainer since 2009. I have a private gym here, and I've trained approximately maybe 10 people a week. And we just do basically one-on-one. And I try to cater to people that's 40 and above. Because, you know, normally after 40, that's when we start to lose our muscle mass.
Right.
It's so important to strength train. I do cardiovascular stuff, but it's still important to strength train, whether you're using weight training or bands, strength bands, or whatever. It's always good to do a routine at least 2 to 3 times a week, strength training. It's kind of difficult for me to show you everything that I have here, but basically...
Yeah, I understand, right.
Basically what I wanted to relate to everyone, definitely a must after 40. It's good to run, it's good to be active and camp and walk and all that good stuff. Right. But in order to be great at anything that you do in as far as activity and sports, it requires muscle. So when you so if you don't have any muscle, you're not gonna be very good at walking.
I do not have any muscle.
You're not gonna be at your best.
Right.
When it comes down to doing anything, really. And the older we get, the more muscle mass we lose. So it's very important that we do something. You know, even if you take a half a gallon of water or even a liter of water and hold it up. Right. Yeah, exactly. Hold it up and twist it around and work it. Where you can
get those muscles stimulated. Here. That was the highest I have carries here 3 pounds.
Exactly. So it's definitely a must. And I'm kind of semi-retired now, but I personally, when I come in the gym, I love it. It's just a matter of staying in here and being consistent for about 6 to 8 weeks. It's sort of like when you're trying to get rid of a bad habit like smoking. You know, some people think that smoking is impossible to stop, but if you were in a situation where you couldn't smoke for 2 weeks, I guarantee you, if you stay away from it after those 2 weeks, it'll be less a problem as far as your addiction is concerned, because your body gets used to not needing it, you know?
Right.
So when it comes down to exercise, the same thing. It's a must that you do it, because if you don't do it, your body lacks the physical activity of feeling better and feeling stronger. So just get into it. It's hard at first, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. It's like, oh, what's the point? You know? But after about 6, 7 weeks, you're like, man, look, you just start looking at yourself in the mirror. You're like, oh, I mean, at the age of 70 and 80, you start looking at yourself in the mirror. I have some clients at 76 years old, and they're proud to come to the gym 3 times a week. They make it a point to, because they're retired. And they make it a point to, and they come in dreary and they're feeling bad. But when they come out, they say, you know what? I'm glad I came because I feel better. So I just wanted to bring that point home and stress it to our older folks.
Right. Be more active. How about the diet, you know, like, how about the losing weight? I think most people is more like when you get older, it's like you kind of in the way of your own weight. At the same time, you're gonna have a lot of health issues. So how can you give a suggestion for elder people who want to lose weight? But I'm thinking about sometimes losing weight is also depending on the individual, you know, the doctor's approval for you to losing weight or some other
all that has a lot to do with your health. But you just have to keep in mind, weight is something that can be divided in 2 different ways. There's fat and there's muscle. There's muscle and there's fat.
Yeah, so, we need some fat though in our body.
Yeah. So it's no point in losing weight if you don't have the muscle to replace it, because it's not gonna make you look better. It's not gonna make you feel better. I mean, you can stop eating half the food and lose the weight. But if you're not strength training and making your body useful, you're not going to get that vibrant, youthful feel and that vibrant look until you do both.
Right.
You know, it's not all about what you eat, and it is important what you eat, but it's how much you eat. Right. You know, you have to be moderate about everything. You shouldn't even be. I wouldn't even recommend exercising 4 hours a day. Going to the gym, standing 4 hours.
They say do not do too much exercise doesn't mean you're gonna lose weight. You have to be balanced.
Got to be balancing what you eat. Got to be a balance in who you associate with. Right. Everything that counts, and that's a lot of reason why people go to church. I mean, I don't personally go to church, but you need that fellowship. And sometimes just going to a gym and meeting a few people that's in the gym and working out and fellowshipping with them will create that feeling of wanting to come there and be a part of that. So it's just a process.
You will have a fellowship in your gym right now, not just by a trainer one-on-one, but you have other people there at the same time?
No, just me and the individual.
Oh, okay.
I've trained teachers and little groups of 3 and 4, but I mainly want to specifically deal with one person because everybody has their own BMI, their body mass index. Everybody has certain needs, and it's always good if you're going to have a client for an hour and a half. It's always good to concentrate on their needs specifically. Right. I mean, you can do 2 or 3 people, but if you want to do it right in a short period of time, you need to establish that relationship between you and that person that wants to do whatever they need, whether they need to lose weight or whether they need to gain muscle or whether they just want to feel good about themselves and be active. And
you know, it's a lot of elderly from my experience. They feel go to the gym is really a hassle for them. So do you have any other suggestion for they're not gonna go to the gym, but can they subsidize to some kind of exercise routinely without going to the gym? Because may not everybody want to go to, you know, some people when they get older, they just want to sit down and watching TV because during their youth, they kind of use up themselves.
You can go to your floor. You can go down here. I go down to my floor. I get down here and I'm on the floor now. Okay. And I'm laying down on the floor like anybody have a floor. I have a floor. I just happen to have an exercise little cruncher here that I kind of get.
Right, I know.
But the main focus on getting on the floor is changing gravity. Okay. Because everybody's kind of used to walking around, and some people can't walk too much, and they're better off.
Exactly. Yeah, they cannot walk around. Even the supermarket.
Getting on the floor and letting your blood kind of lay down on your back and kind of sit there for about 3 minutes and start raising your knees up. You raise your knees up, you throw your legs up, and you hold them in different positions. They have different positions like butterfly kicks, ins and outs. I do all types of different exercises, but I never use my hands, just my legs, and that actually stimulates not only your quadriceps, but also
you're not gonna use your hand, and where's your hand put?
I usually take my fists and put it right behind my buttocks for stability. I don't sit on my hands, but I sit it there for stability. Have you ever seen military routines where they're working out and they're trying to get their soldiers beefed up and stronger? Get them all on the floor or either on the football, and they make them do scissor kicks and they hold their legs out 6 inches. You would be surprised what that does to the body. Just that simple routine, because the gravity changes and it's very difficult, but it's very simple. So when you first take your leg out, they all say, "Oh, this is nothing," you know. Well, how about leave it out there for about 30, 40 seconds? Then you start to feel the gravity, and then you start to feel the pressure. And it's basically strength training again. You start bringing your knees in and bringing it out. You start bringing it in and bringing it out. Whether you take one leg or take both legs, you start holding it out there and start doing routines to strengthen your abdomen, because that's what's really holding your structure up. You know, if you don't have muscularity in your stomach area, you have nothing. And a lot of people don't know a lot of people don't know how to work a stomach. They say, "Well, how you work a stomach muscle? Do you have to do crunches?" No, it's just a matter of laying on your back. And like here, I got a machine here that you call an ab roller. You can actually add weights if you need to. I don't know if you can call that, but I can actually roll forward here. I can roll forward here. And as I roll forward, I don't have to roll all the way up here. I can roll just halfway. And that exercise that stimulates your abdomen all around it. And when you throw your legs up, and put it in a cross position.
Right.
Like this. You
Ah,
cross it up,
okay. Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And then you put it, and then you go in and out, in and out.
Right. Oh, okay. So just like work on your stomach.
Yes, yes. And your
Ah,
quadriceps.
okay. Uh-huh.
And your quadriceps, and your also your hip flexors. So
Right.
your buttocks area, the area that people have problems with when they have back problems, and they say, "Well, how can I
Right.
fix this back problem? I just can't do nothing." Well,
Right.
sometimes it's good to stabilize your back and lay on your back and let your muscles grow from there. And once you start doing these exercises in your crunches, as you get up, and it's sort of like you feel a little soreness in your stomach.
Right.
And it kind of goes away. And next thing you know, you see a few bumps there around your stomach. You say, "What is that?" Those are your muscles. And you'd be surprised how much you can grow a muscle. Everybody's holding up their arm and say, "Okay, check this." You'd be surprised how you can build a six-pack by laying on your floor by doing flutter kicks, ins and outs, 6 inches, all those floor exercises. Because when you hold your legs out, the first thing you do is hold your stomach. The first thing you do is, if you lay on your back now and you hold your legs out, the first thing you feel is, "Oh, my stomach, my stomach." Well, that's the muscle you want to work on. Because you can't do that with a machine like picking up legs. That's your extremities, like your arms, legs, that's different. But when you really want to work a muscle, work that core. Because that's where all of your organs are.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a lot of fat buildup. Fat buildup, all that stuff. You want to burn that up. You want to work that more than anything. I'll stay and do this 30 minutes and be happy with the routine and never pick up a weight. I'll just do leg routines because I know that helps my core. It helps my stomach. It helps my back. All your back muscles, all that obliques, all that stuff. You'd be surprised. 30 minutes.
Yeah.
3 times a week. And when you decide to get out of your car, you'd be like jumping out of the car instead of like pulling on the steering wheel. You'll be getting out because now you got muscles to work with. You'd be surprised you use those muscles every time you get out the car, get in the car. Your stomach muscles in it. And if you don't use those muscles ever, they're not strong, so you're not really training them. You're having a harder time in life. You're having a harder time in life because you're not training the muscles you need to live. Isn't that something?
Yeah, exactly. I was so surprised because I was thinking about lay down and do the exercise, just like a push-up and all that.
All that stuff. You don't need any weights. You use your own body.
Right,
use
your own body.
Mass. So there's no excuses that you need to use a machine to go buy a treadmill. If you do those simple things, I think about maybe 30 years ago, there was a guy named Jack Delaney, and he was doing exercises with 2 little girls beside him, and they was on mats. Before there was anything about weights and going to the gym, they had this little program that you watched at night. And he'd do his thing for about an hour and a half. He'd do his jumping jacks, and he'd do all his floor exercises. And he lived to be an old guy.
Oh my God.
I mean, in his 90s, he still was doing exercises and training for people online, on TV. And that's one of the things that we have now since COVID. You can actually Skype your trainer.
Oh yeah, I know a lot of people are doing virtual meeting with the
we
trainer.
can do it. Like right now, if I set up a little studio where I have a camera and everything, I can actually show you what to do while we're doing it. I can watch you as we do it. If I have a TV screen, if I had to set that up, I'm more personal, but that would be the ideal way if you didn't want to go in the gym and needed a partner. Do it virtual. Do it. Find your partner and do it virtual. Even if you have a friend, y'all can do it virtual. I see a lot of these kids nowadays, they're playing these video games with people cross country.
Yeah, exactly. That's a virtual game. Yeah.
So why can't you have a partner cross country that you exercise with, that you have a common interest? Like me and you. Why can't we someday get together?
Very interesting. I think that's a very interesting concept. It's kind of interesting because I think for older people, they all being encouraged to walk. But I just realized a lot of people, older people, they walk so slow. Well, how are you gonna have them to asking walk so fast and then
and also too,
that made no sense.
In dealing with my older clients, they don't want to go outside.
Exactly.
They don't have a sidewalk, and dogs especially. I have clients that no, I don't trust nobody's neighborhood because there's a dog that might get loose. If I hear him barking at me, I'm gonna freeze up. So a lot of things that you can do just that. It's good to walk the environment if you're in a park or whatever, and you want to drive to wherever you want to go.
Okay,
Go
safety
to a school for
Mhm.
safety. But for the most part, if you don't feel like getting in your car, you can do a lot of stuff right there at home. And the main thing you're going to want to focus on, and I'll tell you, and I stress this with everybody, find you some good music. Music. Get you some good music. I don't care whether it's jazz, I don't care whether it's rock, whether it's country. Find you
So I
something
want to
that
ask
you're
you about the yoga and the pushing out. You just mentioned the exercise for work on your muscle on the stomach. Is it different from the yoga? The yoga
With yoga compared to
the exercise you just mentioned.
it's okay. Yoga is it plays all because I do yoga in a sense.
Right. Yeah.
When you take your legs and you hold them out 6 inches and you hold them in a position for a long period of time, you start feeling the stress. That's a part of yoga.
Right.
So you do your own little yoga. So you bring your own music to the game. Some people like classical. Some people like, Spanish. And you use that music and you focus on the rhythm. And once you focus on the rhythm and let that rhythm focus on your rhythm, because we live on a rhythm. Our heartbeat is on a rhythm.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So if we exercise on a rhythm and we use that music to focus, guess what? We're going to get a better workout, a longer workout, and our body's going to respond a lot easier.
And then you prefer the had to be a hardwood floor, right?
Floor?
Oh, yeah. When you had to lay down, will you prefer to use a hardwood floor?
Yes. Well, something solid. It depends. If you have back problems, I would suggest something solid, flat. If you want to put some type of cushion underneath your back because you have issues and it's more comfortable for you to have an arch, so you can put a pillow or whatever. I've done that with many of my clients. And once they get in that comfortable position, all I want them to do then is just take that foot out there and shake it. Shake it. And I want them to do it. And I want them to do it to music. We usually do it on a rhythm. So if we're doing exercises with James Brown, and if James Brown is on a beat, we're going to be on that same beat. And we're not going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're just going to dance that beat till we get tired, and then we're just going to stop and rest 10 seconds, and then get back on the game, and get back to dancing. Because when you get on the dance floor, I don't see too many people stop dancing when they're dancing. If you can't dance the whole record, just go ahead and sit down. We don't want you standing around out here. And most people going to do that whole dance. It doesn't matter. They be sweating. They be saying, God, but I'm going to finish this dance because, you got to finish the last dance. Got to finish. So it's the same way with your exercise routine. You want to try to go through that 3-minute, 5-minute song, and then take your break. But if you need to take a break during the song, take a 10-second break to recover, no longer than that, because you still want to keep those muscles stimulated. You don't want to take too long. Whereas when you do weight training, you want to take 30 to 90 seconds between reps and between sets.
So you think 30 minutes would be enough and not longer than 30 minutes?
Yeah, 30 minutes. Start off with
15
per day.
Minutes. Do you prefer during the morning or afternoon or evening? What do you think the best time to exercise?
I think it's whatever is convenient for the person.
So it doesn't have to be a day, night, evening. No. It doesn't have to be any time. It's a good time for exercise.
I walked in my gym at 10 o'clock at night because I felt good and I just felt good, and I ate late, and I said, man, I just feel good. And I just want, now one thing about exercising late, some people get sleepy afterwards, but sometimes it makes you, kind of stay up a little longer. But I never have any problems. If I do a good exercise and take a shower, I go straight to sleep. I have no problem going to sleep. And then some people like getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and doing it, And I've had clients.
So when you cannot sleep, just exercise, then you go back to sleep, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anytime is a good time if you feel
I want to exchange in some of the Chinese movement, like Chinese Kung Fu, right?
Right.
So when they have a standing like a horse, I don't know how to say in English. It's like they have one position in Chinese Kung Fu. They do it like standing, and then they practice that all day long just for you to not shake them, in a way. Have you tried to analyzing the Asian philosophy to a Western kind of exercising?
Anytime that you're doing strength training or you're trying to build yourself to be a stronger person,
right?
You can do it, like I said, with your own body mass, but you can also do it through therapy mentally. And breathing is very, very important also. Inhaling and exhaling, holding and you ever seen like those gorillas when they hold their chest, they beating it and the bodybuilders kind of do that same feeling of like tightening up their muscles. The tightening up of your muscles and the breathing technique of tightening up your muscles, which is called isometrics, I believe it's called isometrics, but it's also another form of exercise.
Breathing exercise? You mean
yes, as you exercise,
breathe
as
in,
you
out
move,
when you do the exercise?
Flexing, strengthening, like say for example, Kung Fu, you see them tightening up their muscles and staying in one solid position and staying solid. Well, they have to do breathing techniques in order to do that because their muscles still need that oxygen. Okay.
Okay.
Because they're putting themselves in a tense state.
Yeah,
like
exactly. Right.
So
exactly.
anytime you do that, it's a part of a strength training exercise.
Okay.
And if you do it intensely and if you do it enough, it's just like breaking a brick. You can be strong enough to break a brick, but unless your skin and your fist has been used to hitting things, it has an overlayer of where it can filter some of that pressure, you'll bust your hand open. But people that practice it, they have that overlay of skin. Their skin and their hands are so thick and hard. And you wonder why, because they've been busting bricks all their life. Mechanics have the worst. I think mechanics have the worst hands I've seen. Dealing with all that oil and just twisting and turning, and they got those big hands, and it's just. So in Kung Fu, a lot of that technique, all those techniques, is a part of strengthening and bettering yourself, whether it be your fists, whether it be your legs, or whether it be your feet. It's a part of isometric strength training, mental thing. It's a mental and it's a breathing technique that they do. So yeah, I can appreciate all of that too. Yeah. I try to do a little bit of everything.
I understand that. So do you think you will be any suggestion for female and male, how to distinguish?
As far as exercising is concerned?
Yeah, for men, for older men and for older women. Any sex differences, do you think?
No. I think
so
the weight
they are the same. They don't have any difference in men and
They-
women in a training in a way.
We're built the same way. We just have a different DNA type. We grow muscles as far as men is concerned, as far as testosterone and all that stuff. But you get the same benefits doing the same exercises the same way. You just do less weight. You get the same benefits. You can be not as strong because of the testosterone. A lot of people, especially women, when they want to be strong like a man, they take supplements. And when men want to get stronger than the average man, they take supplements. And then some go overboard and do other things to get bigger. But for the most part, we all kind of built the same, muscularly. Yeah. So I wouldn't advise, say, for example, doing a pull-up. That would be difficult. That would be difficult for the average person to do a pull-up.
Right.
I think I have here these bars here. But you have a pull-up that you do.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And most men do it overhand, and then they say women have to do it underhand. Because when you do an underhand pull-up, easier. And it's kind of harder for a woman because she doesn't have the right muscle mass for that. So in that kind of differences, it's difficult, but I've seen women do overhand pull-ups. It's just a matter of training your body. So it's not impossible. It's just certain things are harder to do for women when it comes down to strength than men. But yeah, the same things, do the same things. I train the girls the same way I train the boys, the same way I train myself. Even me as advanced, I still do the same basic stuff that people come in and do basically on a regular. So you never get away from the basics. It's like going to church on Sunday. It's the same old thing on Sundays, but it's beneficial to keep you focused because of what? Because of the camaraderie, the association, just being in that area, church, like everybody's just happy because you're here. So it's just like the gym, the same way, you know, people come to the gym like that. You know, if people come on Friday, that same group of people gonna probably be in the gym on Friday, every Friday. But some people don't like gyms and they come to me because they want that privacy. And like I said, virtual is the way to go now if you just want to stay home and feel safe because of COVID and other diseases and issues. You can do it, you know, you can set it up and do it that way, but do it.
Thank you so much for sharing us. And we have another event on the 222. So hopefully we'll see you there. We're not gonna share that in here because this is only for the invitation only. So thank you so much. And maybe we'll come back, have you to share us more information.
So well, hopefully I'll be able to set up something where we can do something. Me and you.
All right. You have good morning. Bye-bye.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you for coming.
Sure.